Financial and emotional safety are important and vital in our digital age. And sometimes our seniors may be more susceptible to some of these deceptions and scams that are out there, and we need to help protect them. My guest today, Jasmine Skinner, is the founder of Talon Crest Technologies, and she helps families bring calm and clarity to the chaos of a digital life. With calm and empowering style, Jasmine helps families organize, protect, and pass on those digital legacies. I'm so excited to chat with Jasmine today on the show. So stay tuned and see how you can protect yourself and your loved ones in this digital age. In today's world, older adults face major transitions like downsizing, relocating, or modifying their homes to age in place, all while embracing life after these changes. As a senior home advisor and seasoned realtor, RobinMcCoy guides these decisions with care and thoughtful planning, helping create a vibrant future. Welcome to Relax, I Got This, Embracing Life After 60 with me, your host, RobinMcCoy. Jasmine, thank you so much for being on the show today. I really appreciate it. This is such an important topic, not only for seniors, but for everybody out there in that digital world.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for having me, Robin, on your podcast. Yeah, I'm excited to chat more about how we stay safe online, but also how we help the older adults in
Well,
our lives stay
because,
safe online.
and I'll often think about my mom. She's 89. Um, they were no longer
Mm.
supporting her flip phone, so we had to get her a smartphone.
Oh, goodness.
And that has been like, she's finally learned how to answer the phone. I think she can put me on speaker,
Gotcha.
those sorts of things, right?
Ooh,
But,
nice.
some of this other stuff is
Okay,
it's
yeah.
just beyond her. And so
Yeah,
yeah.
I
So, I mean,
can
it's not
totally get
like,
that.
I didn't grow up with computers. She sure as heck didn't grow up with computers. And, right. And
Right.
right now, we were chatting a little before that there are so many people that are preying upon our seniors. And I've seen it happen with my
Mm,
clients. Nobody's gotten,
mm,
you know, in trouble, but people have tried. But those seniors have
right.
Robin to
Yeah.
call, and not everybody does.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Mm,
would like to, that is why this is so
right.
important. I'm kind of stumbling around here, but that is why this is so important, because we need people to know
Mm.
what to look out for and how to protect their senior.
For sure. I
So,
agree. I
so
totally
let's
agree.
get started. I mean, what is your background? What brings you here
Mm.
today? What is it that kind of brought all this full circle for you?
Yeah, thanks for asking. So I have a background in IT. I've spent the last 8 years working in corporate IT. In addition to that, working with websites and social media. So all in all, about 10 years interacting with the internet, interacting with technology, and learning how to stay safe, and learning how to live in the digital world. So yeah, like helping older adults with technology. I started my company, Talon Crest Technology, about a year and a half ago, and it all came about where I was helping my aunt actually with technology issues. She wanted to get a brand new laptop, and she was feeling overwhelmed at that
Yeah.
idea of doing that by herself. And so I, said, "Oh, I'll help you, and I'll go to the store with you, and I'll get you all set up." And so that's exactly what we did. We went over to the local technology store. I helped her to navigate which, application she needed to buy. Make sure the sales reps didn't try to upsell her or take advantage of her. And then we took it back to her home, and then I, set up the laptop for her, put her email on there, and she was just over
Yeah.
the moon, Robin, honestly. She was so excited about that. And even though it was, a smaller task for me, like it meant the world to her. And so as I'm, talking with people and working with my clients, some tasks that they, want help with, they may seem small to us, to the family members, to the outsider, but it is a big part of their world and how they're interacting, day to day. And so, I think I've learned to just have greater empathy for those that I work with and for, people that are requesting things that, aren't that complex. It may be small to me, but to them it's the largest thing. And so actually, I recently just helped a lady. She loves to cook, and she had over 300 recipes on her laptop, and she wanted help moving
Oh,
them to her iPad. And so she couldn't figure that out. And so I'm glad I was able to help her, import them and export them to her new device. And she was
yeah.
just so excited. She was like, "This means so much, Jasmine. Now I can, see the font a lot bigger and clearer and
And you don't
all of
have to
that."
run to
And
the other
so,
room to see
yeah,
what the
like it's
next
really just the
ingredient
small
is.
things. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's, how I got started, and, it's been,
Well, and
smooth
I think
sailing ever
sometimes,
since.
you know, younger people, and I mean,
Mm.
I know my way around. I am in no way an expert. I know enough,
Mm-hmm.
because I've been working with it, for the last
Mm.
25 years. But I think a lot of times people, maybe even in
Mm.
your generation, right? So when, people that are in their 20s or
Mm-hmm.
30s and now they've grown up with this technology and they adapt so quickly to the
Yep.
changes that they may not
Mm-hmm.
have, if if
Yeah.
you may not have the patience with your parent or your aunt or your grandparent when they're trying to figure this
Mm-hmm.
out, because it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
come naturally to them as it does to people in their 20s and
Correct.
30s.
Correct. Yeah, it's been really interesting to observe that. Like, I kind of grew up with the home PC and
Yeah.
internet as it grew up. And so, to your point, like, it was just more a part of my day to day than, say, for my parents or my grandparents.
So
So, yeah,
that's one
that's
of the
totally
reasons,
true.
I think this is why, or this is how many of our seniors are preyed upon,
Mm.
because they have a
Mm.
instant trust for people.
Mm-hmm.
I saw something the
Mm-hmm.
other day on it was on, whatever, probably Facebook or something, but it was a news article where this woman said, "You could not have
Mm.
convinced me that that wasn't my granddaughter, because somebody had used
Wow.
AI to impersonate her granddaughter's voice,
Gosh.
and how they did it, I don't know, but
So scary.
she wasn't caught up in it. She didn't get caught, but but
Mm-hmm. Mm.
she knew what it was. She knew it wasn't her granddaughter, but there was no way you could have convinced her that wasn't her granddaughter's voice. I mean, it was that good. It was that good.
Right.
So let's
Hmm.
talk with a little bit
Yeah.
about this, about how the technology has
Okay.
gotten to such a place where people are in danger, that they are being scammed,
Mm-hmm.
and how can we make
Yeah.
sure, or what can, you call it digital safety 101. What is it? Give me the 101.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Great questions, Robin. I would say just in terms of those like voice scams or kidnapper family scams, one thing that I share often with people is to come up with a family safe word. And so a word that only you and your family know in case of this, real or digital emergency, or scammers trying to say, like your, loved one is kidnapped. If you ask them, okay, what's the safe word, or, what's the emergency word, and they don't know it,
Yeah.
then you know it's fake. And so that can be, something really inconspicuous, or something, unrelated to your family life or family history. So okay, like this is, the emergency word or the safe word. And so I encourage people to do that for these,
Yeah.
voice scams, these AI scams. And then also, I don't know if you've heard about these, but the romance scams. Have you heard about them?
Yes.
Yeah, and
Yes.
so like also, scammers and predators are preying on, individuals, not only the older adults, but regular adults, and getting them caught up in like a love affair, asking them to send money, always promising that they'll be on a video call and they never get on the video call. So it's just texting or like a black,
Yeah.
video call screen. And so, also, our older adults are also vulnerable to this as well. And so I would say for that, it's just as simple as checking in on them, seeing like how's their week going, if they're, constantly talking about this person in the background, you could say like, "Oh, I would love to meet them one day. Let's meet up for lunch." And if you find out they're not here or they're not willing to get on, a video call with you, then that's, definitely red flags to further investigate. Okay, who is this person you're talking to? Why are you sending them money? Don't send them money. Don't
Yeah.
give them personal information. And so, as I'm talking with people, those are two of the things that
Yeah.
come up a lot is, the romance scams and
Well,
then the
so
AI
this,
voice
and
scams.
I know the romance scam is because they're preying upon vulnerable individuals.
Mm,
And then when
yeah.
I think it's important that when if one of our loved ones is involved in something like this and it becomes apparent to make sure that we're
Mm-hmm.
not embarrassing
Mm,
them that they fell for something. I know that that's a,
yeah. Great
and
point.
so
Great point.
how if I'm, let's just say I realize my parent is involved in this, how do I make it
Mm,
stop?
mm,
Is
mm.
there I mean, I don't know. I don't even know the question I'm answering or if you're the right person to ask, to make sure
Mm.
this person goes away.
Yeah, I think that's really tricky, just especially, you have to assess the level of deception
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
already occurred. And so, if unfortunately, these scammers
yeah.
are also master manipulators. And so I would say just, if your loved one or family member is involved in one of these you suspect, start trying to, like shed light on, isn't it weird, if they say they love you, they don't want to meet your family? Isn't it weird, if they're asking you to send them money, but they never send you any? Isn't it weird that they don't want to come visit you or have you visit them? And so trying to, like,
Mhm.
shine the light of
Yeah.
reality on the situation for them, I think is a great first start. But yeah, it's tricky, if, deeper measures need to take place, if it's a matter of deleting the account that they're using to contact them, and,
Yeah.
reporting it obviously to state and federal officials and institutions
Yeah.
that track scammers and all of that. That's another avenue to take. But yeah, it's
Well,
really,
yeah, because
really
people,
challenging
yeah, it's
when that
and it's heartbreaking, and and now not only are
hmm
they taking a financial advantage, they're taking an emotional advantage as well,
hmm
and I
yeah,
think a
for
lot
sure.
of seniors and older adults worry about not keeping up with things or not, and the embarrassment factor
Mm,
is so high
yeah.
that they don't say
hmm
anything, and then it comes out that they've sent
Mm.
$20,000 or more to these people, and
Oh
it's
gosh.
just,
Yeah.
oh, like I could get on a soapbox and hunt these people down, and I want them to suffer. I want them to
Yeah.
suffer. Um,
Mm.
so I mean,
hmm
yeah, I mean, I don't even know what my question is because it's just so upsetting.
Yeah, no, it is, and that's okay. And so, I would say just to you and to others, like don't try to like suppress those feelings, work through them and like, try to put a plan in place. Like, okay, I know this like really gets me going or I'm really concerned about grandma,
Mm,
maybe I should have that
it's a good point.
conversation with her. Maybe this is just telling you, just have that conversation, even if it doesn't lead to any, big outcome. Just start the
I
conversation,
think
I
that
would
is
say.
like there's the key to it right there is like when you're having all these conversations
Mm,
with your loved ones,
mm-hmm,
make this part of those conversations.
mm-hmm,
Even if you say, "Wow, I read this story
for sure.
online about how this woman, she's in her 70s
Right.
and she's been widowed for a while and she got not kidnapped, she got convinced that this person was in love with her online, and maybe telling
Mm,
that story
right.
so that should that come up to your loved one in the future, they've got some knowledge about what
For
it might
sure.
be.
Yeah, and you can even ask them like, "What do you think about this?" or "How would you respond in this situation?" just to get them,
Yeah. Well, and
engaged a
that
little bit
it's
more.
funny. Well,
Hmm.
with my mom, I'm like, you do not answer the phone unless my face or Tracy, my sister, her face is on there. Nobody else is calling you.
Uh-huh.
Nobody else is calling you
Yeah.
except me or Tracy.
It's
Nobody else,
just
because everybody, and
us.
right now everybody else has my phone number and my email. She's
Mm, that's
89 years
good.
old. She lives in a
Yeah.
residential care home. I'm handling, my sister and I
Hmm.
are handling everything. So nobody should be calling her. And so if they have her
Right.
phone number,
Yeah.
it ain't, it's nothing she needs to know about.
Mm. Yeah, good point. Yeah, those are good safeguards you and your
Yeah.
sister have put in place. That's
So,
really good.
so if somebody is, we talk a lot about aging in place right now, right? For a lot of reasons. One,
Hmm.
senior care living is expensive. And,
It
so
is.
if someone is choosing to age in place, and that may be the home they've been in for 40 years, or maybe they've right sized into just something more manageable, whether it's a condo, an
Hmm.
apartment, or just a smaller home. What
Yeah.
are some things digitally
Hmm.
that they might be able
Hmm.
to plan ahead for?
Gotcha. Yeah, great question. I would say digitally planning ahead while someone ages in place. Um, I would start with just those important documents like power of attorney, DNR, should that be applicable, will, things like that, insurance policies. I would, organize the paper copies in one place that's easily accessible for the family, for that adult, and then also put digital copies in a safe place online in a cloud storage solution that all the family children have access to, should that, need arise. And so that's where I would, highly encourage people to start as they're aging in place, for lack of a better term, getting their house in order, or as you put it, right sizing to a condo or whatnot.
So
So
let's
that's
talk
where
about
I would start.
passwords for a minute. A friend of mine, her mother and
Mm,
father both started decline very quickly, and both cognitively and physically.
mm,
And then all of a sudden, she is left to figure things out: passwords, bills, where are the bank
yeah.
accounts.
Mm,
We are always cautioned about
mm.
passwords and writing them down, and all the things they say don't do. But how on earth
Right.
the adult child come in
Yeah.
and try and unravel all of this and understand what they have when they need help?
I know. I know. Yeah, that's like you said, it can be a hard, you know,
Yeah,
group of
yeah.
cords to untangle. Um, I would say a good starting point is just that family member's phone and email, getting access to that, because as you're requesting access to various accounts, they will ask for two-factor authorization, whether that's through a text message or a third-party app, or they'll send you an email with that code. And so I think getting access to the emails and phones takes priority. And then for, future planning, whether that's having a password book and storing that in a safe that a family member has access to, or with your attorney or estate planner, they're, good resources to involve in this process as well. And so should, a family member begins to decline, okay, I can go to this attorney. They have the information stored securely. Or if the adult child or family member is a little bit more tech savvy or confident, I would encourage them to start storing it in a password manager themselves. So those are, some
So
approaches
yeah,
people
and
can take.
it's I've just seen it's just so vital, and we a lot of time our
Mm,
seniors,
mm-hmm.
parents don't want to necessarily involve their kids in their personal details. And
Yeah.
the more the
Mm-hmm.
longer we live, the more some of this is going to come
Mm-hmm.
up, and your adult
Mm-hmm.
children or your loved ones are going to need at least one you trust, whether it's in your family or not, right? I mean,
Yeah.
not all families get along, right? So let's not,
Mm-hmm.
but make sure, like you
That's true.
said,
Yeah.
yeah, a
Trusted
friend,
family
your
friend.
attorney, your financial
Mm-hmm.
person,
Mm-hmm.
somebody that you trust
Mm-hmm.
has some of
Yeah.
this information where it's
Mm-hmm.
safe, right? It's not going to get out there to the
Mm-hmm.
digital demons or whatever
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna call them, those horrible rotten people that
I love
walk
that.
among us. It's not going to get out to
Right.
them, but yet when it's
Yes.
needed, that
Mm-hmm.
somebody that needs that access.
For
Because
sure.
truth is, if nobody can get
Mm-hmm.
access to it and it just sits there in a bank account forever, it ultimately is going to go to the state, and nobody wants that.
Yeah. Hmm. And no, yeah, I've heard horror stories about, probate and family
Yeah.
assets going through that. So yeah, you definitely want
Yeah,
to avoid that.
exactly. So what can, if I'm an older adult who is does have some
Hmm.
technology knowledge, right? I mean, like I said, I'm
Hmm.
62. I know I know my way
Hmm.
around. There are lots of my stepmom is in her 80s. She knows her way around. But what could
Mm.
somebody like my stepmom, who
Mm.
is in her 80s, what could she do today to ensure that she is digitally protected going forward as she continues to
Mm.
age?
Ooh, great question. I would say for that person as they continue to age, it may be really simple, and I know we've briefly touched on this, but have your passwords in one place. I've, heard stories about, oh, it's on this post-it note, oh, it's in this file, oh, it's saved there in the browser. Like, make it easy for your loved ones to help you moving forward. So I would say, first and foremost, please, please, please organize the passwords, whether that's a password book that's stored securely or if they want, help with a family member using a digital password manager. Also, as they continue to age gracefully, I would say, getting your affairs in order, whether that's a will or a trust. Again, make it as easy as possible for your family to know your wishes ahead of time and not wait until, you're no longer
Yeah.
with them and for them to guess as to, what your funeral arrangements are, which child gets the car, where the life insurance
All
policy
that.
is, like who gets the tchotchkes or the china, like, just making a simple list and then
Yeah.
getting it notarized, just something to get the ball rolling, and so you're not leaving your family members wondering. And I would say just also as they continue to age gracefully, don't be afraid to ask
Mhm.
for help, but then also, family members, like don't bring them down or
Yes.
criticize them if they ask you for help.
Yeah.
It's a two-way street. And so it could mean, the family member reaching out a few times, more than once and saying, let me help you with this. Oh, let me take you to lunch and we talk about this. Oh, let me come over for an evening and I help you with this. And so it's a two-way street. And so, encouraging the older adult to reach out for help, but then also the family member saying, or the friend saying, like, let me help you with this. I have time. This is important. Your legacy is important. Let's get this
Yeah.
sorted
You know,
together.
and I want to stress that anybody can succumb to one of these scams or these things that are going
Oh,
on
yeah.
out there. It can happen
Hmm.
to anyone. And it happened to another friend of
For
mine
sure.
who she's in her 70s, and
Mm,
very, she's out here working. She's still working. She's doing all the things that she does. She's very capable. And she got,
hmm.
and it looked like it was from PayPal using known
Oh,
companies,
wow.
and they said, it's something
Hmm.
like a refund or something like that, and then they went, oh, we accidentally sent
Hmm.
you $1,000 too much. We're going to need you to send that $1,000 back. And she almost did it.
Gosh.
Almost did it,
Mm.
but she didn't, you know.
Hmm.
And I know our banks
Good.
now are trained, the tellers at banks are trained to see red flags.
Yeah.
If the same person is coming in and
Mm-hmm.
withdrawing or wiring thousands of dollars more than once,
Mm-hmm.
to see what some of
Right.
this may be. So, I mean, I think that's
Mm.
one of the things that we have to do is just keep an eye out for that stuff as well. Even with our clients,
For
right? I
sure.
mean, you go
Totally
in and you
agree.
work with seniors and you're
Mm-hmm.
helping
Mm-hmm.
them unravel even just something simple like
Mm-hmm.
you said, helping your aunt set up her new laptop. But then maybe you
Mm-hmm.
see something that
Yeah,
piques your curiosity. Ask about those things. Ask about those
for
things.
sure. Yeah.
Are you 62 or older and considering buying a home? It's important to explore all the opportunities available to you. I want to introduce you to Alicia Dutton with Mutual of Omaha Reverse Mortgage. Since 2013, Alicia has been dedicated to helping baby boomers unlock the benefits of reverse mortgages and reverse for purchase programs. Whether you are looking to stay in your current home or right size into a new one, Alicia provides personalized attention to meet your unique needs and timeline. She is a trusted resource for financial advisors, realtors, and loan officers, and has been a guest on this podcast. She is ensuring you are educated and empowered every step of the way. Discover the possibilities with Alicia Dutton today.
For sure. Yeah. And I would say like I know for me, like what comes to mind is, oh, I don't want to step on anyone's toes. For those of us that, grew up in the South or live in the South, I don't want to
Yeah.
pry, I don't want to be
Got to be
nosy, you
kind.
know. But yeah, you got to be kind. And so think of it from this perspective. You are helping them to maintain their legacy. You're helping them to stay safe. You're helping them to age with dignity and grace. And so just being curious and asking questions, like, oh, I'm curious, aunt, mom, uncle, dad, what are you doing about this? Like, how can I help you? Like, are your friends, and your club
Mm.
talking about this? Like things like that. And so I would just start with it from a curious approach, and then like you're helping them to pass on their legacy, and so that's worth talking about and worth having the initial hard conversation. And usually I've just realized it's just like the first 30 seconds that can be a little awkward, but then it levels out and then it's a really good conversation. So I would just encourage people to be brave and have the 30 seconds of bravery and
And I
start
think
that
that is like the
conversation.
key to this whole conversation right there is have that 30 seconds
Mhm.
of the hard part of the conversation,
Mhm.
which is starting it. And,
Mhm.
and when you
Yeah.
do that, one, if you're starting the conversation, do it in a kind way, not in an accusation sort of
Mhm.
way.
Mhm.
And if you're the one
You got
that
it.
is this is being brought up to, don't get defensive. Don't get defensive. And, because
Yeah,
I
that's so
know,
good.
like, I know that, right? I know that. And not getting defensive and understanding that
Yes.
this person that is coming to you is doing it
Mm.
because they care
Mhm.
and they want to make sure because they've heard
For
stories,
sure.
right?
Mhm.
Um, keep in
Yeah.
mind that, it's not all just digital. It starts out personal when somebody is trying
Mm.
to take advantage
Mhm.
of you. It can start out as personal and then it becomes
Yeah.
a digital thing, right? Where they can clean everything out. And it's
Mhm.
happened
Mhm.
where
Yeah.
these people
Yeah.
did this to this couple in Florida. They've since been arrested. They've been
Oh
arrested.
gosh.
They've been arrested,
That's
but they
good.
took
That's
not
good to
only
hear.
they got themselves just ingratiated with this older couple, and they ended up signing over their house, their cars. They had got access to bank accounts. These people got them to sign a DNR.
Wow.
This man went into the hospital. He
No.
had a DNR. They did not resuscitate him and
Oh.
he died. So this woman was
Oh
left
gosh,
with
Robin,
not only no
no.
money, no house, no car, but no husband. So this is the level that
How
that
awful.
these awful people will go to. And so
Mm,
I don't know how they sleep at
mm,
night
yeah.
personally, and I don't know, again, this is why I want them to suffer. But it's those sorts of
Yeah.
things that they will get close to someone, like you talk about the
Mm,
romance scams and those sorts of things. They're good. These
mm-hmm.
people are good at what they do. They're
Mm-hmm.
very good at taking advantage of people. And
Mm,
so that's why it can happen to anybody.
mm-hmm. Mm, yeah, totally. Yeah, great thoughts. Yeah. That is a sobering reminder. It can happen to
Yeah.
anyone, no matter your age. And so we all have to be vigilant, but
Yeah.
especially, for our older adult family members and friends, like, check in with them, help them to feel at ease, don't criticize them, and then, just stay involved and remain
Well,
curious
and
as to
find
what's
people
going
like
on in their
yourself
lives.
that are trustworthy to, if you don't have
Mm,
someone close to you to help you with these things, don't don't feel like you have to
mm-hmm,
go to the store yourself and find this laptop so that
yeah.
I mean it's worth,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not throwing any retail people under the bus. But if you are, you walk in and you're unsure of what you're doing and what you need, and
Mm,
anybody that
mm-hmm,
is
mm-hmm,
a nefarious person will notice that, and they are putting themselves in
mm.
positions to recognize a vulnerable person, right?
That's
I'm going to
true.
go work at this
That's true.
store
Yeah.
because I know I'm going
Mm-hmm.
to find people that are vulnerable and I will be able to take advantage of them. I don't mean to be all
Mm, yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
but again, like I said, I get so worked up about this because it just makes me so angry.
Mm, yeah, definitely. So yeah, like you said, people are positioning themselves to try to take advantage of others, unfortunately. And so, if you feel like you can't go to a family member or a trusted friend, always, come to our website, taloncrest.com, schedule, a discovery call with us. We'd be happy to chat with you and answer any of those questions, that you have. And just like, I'm thinking about this. How can I do this in a safe way? Or what are your recommendations? We'd be happy to, help you in any
Yeah,
way
I mean,
possible. So
and
yeah.
that's why I really wanted to bring you into the fold here because you are,
Thank you.
I've met her on a more than like two or three occasions through different networking
Yeah.
events and different events in Dallas here, and I find her to be honest. I find her to be genuine and very trustworthy. So, um, I mean, that's a
Thank you,
big
Robin.
deal. That's a big deal these days. So where if
Mm-hmm.
see, I got all worked up. Now I can't talk. Get all worked up.
That's
What is
okay.
something maybe we didn't touch on that you feel like you want to make
Ooh.
sure we get across today? We Are One Heart is a 501c3 nonprofit organization dedicated to bridging the gap between the needs and resources of low income seniors and veterans. Rooted in compassion and love, our mission is to provide housing, living assistance, and access to critical resources that ensure dignity and support for the elderly in underserved communities. At the heart of We Are One Heart's work is the belief that every individual shares a common humanity, a heart connected through love and care. We are committed to creating a future that honors those who have shaped the past by offering programs and services that enhance their quality of life. For more information or to donate, visit wa1h.org. That's WA, the number one, H.org.
Ooh, great question. What haven't we chatted about? Um, I would say just in my learning and research and working with young or with older adults, I'm realizing that it's not just limited to them, that they have this support network of family involved, and some of these issues and strain and stress spills over to their family members. And so I'm doing a lot of research around
Yes.
the
Yeah. Oh,
sandwich
yeah. That's,
generation. Have you
well,
heard of that?
yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah. And so, for those of you that don't know, the sandwich generation are those usually women who are caring for children while also caregiving for their older adults or family members. So they're sandwiched between the two, younger and older generations, and it adds a lot of extra stress to their lives. And so, I'm learning how, we can use technology to help ease some of those burdens for the sandwich generation, using AI, technology, existing, systems and companies and resources that are there, just to not only, help that older adult family member, but give overall support to the family members that are supporting them, because, they're overwhelmed. The people that I've spoken to,
Well,
they
and
don't
it
know what
is,
to
and
do.
it's kind of a new thing in our culture, right? For in the United States,
Mm-hmm.
it's
Mm-hmm. For
all of a
sure.
sudden we are finding ourselves still taking care of children in many cases, and now our parents need
Mm-hmm.
that attention that maybe they didn't need before. And you're right, it
Mm-hmm.
just
Yeah.
everybody's lives are changed when all of a sudden mom or dad or
Mm-hmm.
both
Mm-hmm.
need more attention.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Mm-hmm.
it's
You
it's
nailed
it's
it.
it's overwhelming, and your life is forever changed. and
Mm-hmm. For sure.
and so now we're trying to
Yeah.
keep up with what are mom and dad doing.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we don't recognize a cognitive
Yeah.
decline that might be going on, because especially if mom
Mm.
and dad are still together, they're both still, then one
Mm-hmm.
very
Yeah.
will cover for the other, and they make a great team. They make a
For
great
sure.
team. Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard of that as well. Yeah, with the couples that are still together, one can see while one can speak, and they make it seem like they're a
Yeah.
whole, person, but
Yeah.
there's
So
deficits there.
so
Yeah.
how can people get in touch with you? You mentioned your website. What is the best way that they can reach you? Of course, we're going to
Mm-hmm.
put this in all the show notes. But what is the best way somebody could get
Mm-hmm.
in touch with you?
Yeah, so I'm active on Instagram and on X, formerly known as Twitter, at jasmine.tech, Jasmine DOT Tech. And so you can reach out to me there, and of course through the website, taloncrest.com. And yeah, happy to, get to know some more
This is
people and
awesome.
talk
And I
more
will
about
tell
this.
you too, if you have an organization, a group, or anything like that, Jasmine is a great person to have come and speak to your group, your organization, um, about this, because it is such a vital topic.
Yeah,
Thank you
thank you,
for being
Robin. It's
with
been a
us.
pleasure.
And thank you for tuning in to another episode of Relax, I Got This, Embracing Life After 60. Make sure you like, share, and spread the good word, and we'll see you next time. Take care.
Thank you for tuning in to Embracing Life After 60 with me, Robin McCoy. This podcast is produced by Jen Sariano with special thanks to the amazing team at Relax I Got This. You can find more episodes on YouTube and wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. If you've enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, follow, and share to help us spread the message. Until next time, keep embracing life to the fullest.